And now, I would like to have one final word with veteran CBS newsman Wally Ballou. We switch you now to the other end of this studio for W.W. Ballou.
This is distinguished CBS newsman Wallace Ballou reporting from the other end of the studio, from where I'm standing.
Just a minute here. This is pretty ridiculous. A foreign correspondent like you reporting from only about 10 feet away.
Well, they're breaking me in for CBS News, Ray. They want me to start corresponding from close in and work my way out. They promised I could make a report from Staten Island next week on CBS News.
I see. But what if there isn't any news that needs to be reported from there, then?
Huh?
Suppose there's nothing happening.
Well, I'll have to make a little then. Fellow needs practice if he's ever going to hold down the CBS News Post in, say, Paris or Bonn or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, those CBS News boys are tops in the business.
Did they tell you to say that on the air, too? I mean, isn't that a plug for broadcasting's foremost news-gathering
This
organization?
is Silver-Tongued CBS newsman Wallace Ballou, reminding you to hear the news first, fast from CBS News, and returning you now to the other end of the studio. Almost spilled the beans about the plug there, didn't you, buddy?
Okay, Wally. It's the way.
Hello, this is Wesley L. Webster, welcoming you to Bob Elliott and Ray Goulding's new educational feature, Wisdom of the Elder. We have with us a panel of distinguished scholars who are going to use their wisdom, their sapience and profundity, to give you, the listener, something to muse about, to ruminate over, if you prefer. The first guest to my right is Roland T. Droff, the Dean of Wisdom at the Gleckle School of Agriculture.
Yeah, how do you do? Yes.
Sir, you don't have to smile particularly. This is just radio.
Yes.
Poetess Layla Levinster, whose current book of poems, Rhyme on My Hands, is a glut on the market.
It's not a glut on the market. The note says it was just put on the market.
I'm sorry. And lastly, Start Vanderluden, who used to study Sigmund Freud.
No, I used to study Hans Christian Andersen.
Well, I knew it was one of those foreigners.
Yeah, boy.
But now, panel, it's time for you to philosophize, and I should like first to look at Start Vanderluden.
Who's he looking at? Do you
Start Vanderluden.
Oh, yeah, well, I believe it was Confucius who once said, water can both sustain and engulf a ship.
Yeah, I think Samuel Johnson said nobody is always wrong. Even a stopped clock is right twice a day.
Yes. I'll always admire William Shakespeare for saying there's small choice in rotten apples.
I would like to object to a point here. I think the poet George Burns once said, water can both sustain and engulf a ship.
What insight the poet Shelley Winters had when he said, never argue with your doctor. He has the inside information.
A memorable line from Shakespeare's comedy As You Like It was, laughter greases up the engine of worry, enabling you to slide merrily on your way.
Ginger Rogers, in a moment of great insight, once said, nobody is always wrong. Even a stopped clock is right twice a day.
I think it was Ginger Rogers who said that water can both sustain and engulf a ship.
Charles Dickens knew from whence he spoke when he said the famous words, water can both sustain and engulf a ship.
Wasn't it Kaiser Hoyt Wilhelm who said there's small choice in rotten apples?
I'll always remember Rudyard Kipling's immortal words, nobody is always wrong, even a stopped clock is right twice a day.
I have always tried to live by the words of J.P. Morgan when he said, put your money where your mouth is.
Yes, and he's a good singer, too.
I think our time is about up. I wonder if I might just add one note to try to clear things up. I think that several quotations here is all confused, and I think we might have to rebroadcast this. As you know, this program, Wisdom of the Ages, is a copyrighted feature and cannot be rebroadcast without the express consent of the now defunct Continental League. Now then, this is your moderator, Wesley L. Webster, saging in the words of Jerome Crawford Ross. Leave taking to the voice of partner. Let up a path on quiet. Thank you. Goodbye.
Wally Ballou is down in Florida. We assume he's at Cape Canaveral or thereabouts, live on tape. Come in, please.
Canaveral and winner of 17 Diction Awards, greeting you from the site of a new launching, which we'll be witnessing in just a few minutes. For obvious reasons, we can't give the scientist's name, but standing with me is a man we'll call Professor X. And he's going to explain a little bit about his part in this scientific work taking place right here.
Thank you. My name is Gordon Red Myers, popularly known as Professor X. Mr. Ballou, my duties here at Canaveral end at 80, countdown 80. As you can see, they're well beyond that. They're down around 40 somewhere now. And I think you're going to be in for another shot.
Well, what happens when when the countdown gets to 80 and your work is done?
My work is done. Well, I go out and I sell hot dogs to the crowds, and different things like that.
Refreshments in general, and that's why you have Professor...
Get your red hot dogs, buddy. You only have a few seconds left.
Before we shoot.
See? They're getting ready for the shoot now.
Except the cameraman.
And Professor X is busily engaged selling hot dogs.
All you cameramen want a red hot?
And
get your hot dogs.
Sentry on the gate. Lock the
You don't have too many seconds left.
Sentry on the
Come on, hurry up now.
Sentry on the gate is locking the gate
with
now.
or without?
I'll have mustard on mine, Professor.
Good.
Stand by.
Stand by, you see, so better hurry up, folks.
2 minutes.
Oh, you only got 2 minutes to get your hot dogs. Let's go now.
Well, that's plenty of time for a red hot.
Get your hot dogs here.
Wonder if I could have a well-done hamburger while I'm waiting, too, Professor.
Sure.
Down to 30 now.
Put one on.
25 seconds.
See, hurry up. You only have 25 seconds, folks.
Now the reporters are clamoring around Professor X.
19.
All you astronauts who are going aboard, you better get yours now.
15.
And they're
13.
enjoying their last refreshments here.
11.
Down to 11, folks. I'm sorry. It's too late. I cannot take any more orders.
No, he cannot take any more orders. He's closing the stand.
2, 1, 0.
Okay, get your red hot
Now
dogs
he's opening
here.
up again,
Get
and this
your hot
is
dogs
Wally
here.
Ballou
Watch
from...
the missile in the sky and eat a hot dog.
Nice coverage, Wally.
Well, where's the music? Well, I didn't know you were going to
You were
sing
supposed
today.
to have an arrangement of because set for him to sing today.
Oh,
Webb.
I didn't know that you were going to sing, Ray.
Maybe you better not. Maybe you better not sing it.
That's the way you feel about
I
it,
mean,
then. Because
you
I
know.
sing very, very nicely. I sing
I know,
every bit
but-
as well as Tony Marvin sings.
Yeah,
I've heard
I know,
him
but-
sing like Old Man River. I can sing that.
Well, I know, but I don't think this is the place for it. And if Webb can't play it, there isn't going to be much help anyway.
Well, here I go.
You are going to play it? As near as you can come to because.
Well, that isn't because. On the good ship, lollipop, la 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 la, la la la. I forget the words of that. Shirley Temple around.
Is there a Shirley Temple in the house?
Yeah.
Would you come over here, Shirley?
Yeah.
And certainly, I saw this audience card of yours, and we wanted to make sure we got you on the show today.
Yeah.
Shirley, what a wonderful career you had, and I remember seeing those pictures when you were such a cute little girl. with
Well, thank
dimples
you. I
and
didn't know
everything.
that you knew me when I was a child.
Well, only by movies. I knew you. Used to go
Well,
to see everyone. I remember the one there with Little Miss Marker. Yeah, that was a great one.
Well, I'm sorry now. I don't.
Sorry about what? You have nothing to be sorry about. Well, you certainly.
Well, the only. There was a nice home movie that my brother-in-law took one time.
No, I mean
It
Hollywood.
was around
movies.
Christmas season. It was lovely. But
I meant Hollywood movies. Little Miss Marker and.
Oh, I
Littlest
saw that.
Rebel,
I think I
was,
saw
was
that.
another one?
Littlest Rebel.
Yeah.
I think I saw that.
Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm. Did you ever
Yes.
make that?
No.
And must have been Jane Withers I was thinking of. Let's
I'm
see,
here.
Who else was? I don't think this is the real Shirley Temple. Who are you, sir?
Jane Weathers.
No, I said Jane Withers.
Oh, I thought
Not
you called
Jane.
me.
No. Well, too much mistaken identity here.
Well, I'm not the Shirley Temple.
I know you're not. I realize that now.
I see.
And, I was going to say you changed an awful lot if it were you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is multiple award-winning reporter Wally Ballou on the street on behalf of Bob and Ray's campaign for a transistor radio in every home. Everyone's familiar with radio's stellar performance in crises such as floods, hurricanes, blackouts, and blizzards. And we're going to ask people here on the street if radio ever helped them in such a situation. How about you, sir?
Well, every morning it helps me because it gets me up and to work on time because my boss does not tolerate lateness or tardiness.
I see. It would be a crisis if you were late.
You bet. I get up to nice music and the news. It
Good.
saves my life. My boss is very cranky, and he's warned me about it, and
Okay.
that's why, yeah.
How about this lady over
I don't
here?
know what I'd do without radio. Yes, sir.
Fine.
Right.
Madam,
What?
has radio ever helped you in a crisis?
It surely has. Just a week ago Tuesday, it saved my life, I think.
How was that?
Well, I put it in a sock and hit a burglar on the head with it.
Here's a burglar type over here. You look like you're on the lam, sir.
What a head I've got.
Imagine a lot of you around the country have noticed along the highways and byways the sign which now is becoming quite familiar to millions, the sign that is visible for miles in front of a big glassed-in store that is making its appearance around the country, the sign which reads, House of Puttees. We have the gentleman who has established this overnight sensation of a business, Mr. Rick Featherton, here with us. And Rick, I just want to add my congratulations to those of so many.
Thank you very much, Ray. Bob, which one are you? I can never
Bob.
get you two guys straight in my mind.
I'm Bob.
You're
and,
Bob, huh?
Yes. Tell us about your
Well,
House of
that's
Puttees.
right. I started House of Puttees. Well, it all started as a hobby. I had got a pair of puttees in the Army, and they let me take them home. They became a hobby with me, and I started collecting puttees from different armies all over the world.
You have one of the largest puttee collections, I've been told, of anyone.
Undoubtedly. And so now I have so many puttees that I'm going to sell them and fill up all these House of Puttees around the country.
Well, not only to sell your collection, but you're manufacturing them too, is that right?
Not yet. I am planning to manufacture if the demand exceeds the supply.
I think I read somewhere that you provide the puttee and installation service in 15 minutes.
That's
at all
right. You
your
can walk in
locations.
here, you walk out 15 minutes later with puttees on.
Fitted
And
and,
they're fitted, and they're yours, and they're guaranteed.
How long are they guaranteed for, Rick?
They're guaranteed for 6 months or 12 miles, whichever comes first.
I see. Well, now, you have at last count 72 House of Puttees.
That's
Is there
right.
any part of the country where these are going better than some other sections?
Oh, yes, they're going very good right here where we are now on the Newark Bumpton Turnpike, but not too far from Cedar Grove, New Jersey. Right here, see, we're open Sundays, too.
I see.
We got a lot of family trade. A lot of people come in here with the kids to get their puttees, and that's it.
And, of course, your newest one is opening on Park Avenue here in New York City proper next week.
That's right, but that'll be open only by appointment. You got to call Richard. Call Richard for an appointment for the Park Avenue House of Puttees. Starts a week Tuesday.
Well, we'll be dropping around for the opening ceremonies. We'll have our microphones
Incidentally,
there.
a lot of people walking around wearing ace bandages make them believe they're puttees. They're not. I can tell a fellow wearing ace bandages 30 paces. He wear no puttees of mine. It's an ace bandage.
Well,
And anyone who'd wear an ace bandage and say they were puttees cannot ride my club car.
well, okay, Rick Featherton, and any of you folks who are planning on purchasing puttees, be sure you look for the name House of Puttees inside the back flap.
I'm thinking of putting the word leggings underneath the puttees. A lot of people don't know what they are.
Well,
so if
anyone
you
who's
clear
been in
that up
service,
with the
of
people.
course,
Right,
would
House
know.
of Puttees or leggings, but the name is registered both ways.
Rick Featherton, our guest. A real pleasure to chat with him.
Bob, I want you to take one puttee for you, and here's a puttee for Ray.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
And now a word from our award-winning roving correspondent, Wally Ballou, who's on top of a situation in Long Island Sound. Come in, please, Wally Ballou.
Lee Ballou speaking. I'm on a power launch on Long Island Sound about 4 miles out and a little east and north of Old Safehold. And I'm watching a boat dive.
Are all the passengers safely in lifeboats, Wally?
Well, this is a 34-footer, Ray, owned by advertising executive Ham Beckersley.
What's the name of the craft?
She's called the Blue Memo. 34-foot Lap straight constructed overnighter. Sleep 8 to 9 if you pull the deck out.
Have you been able to ascertain what kind of accident occurred, Wally?
Well, we're anchored here just a few feet from the Blue Memo, and if I hold up the bank, I think, I think you're getting it now.
What are those noises I hear, Wally?
As far as I can make out, there's a party going on in the cabin of the Blue Memo.
Are those people aware that the Blue Memo is sinking?
Well, the craft is listing about 55 degrees to starboard, so if there's a party going on in the cabin, it's all on one side. Somebody's sure to notice, I think.
Do you know if they sent out any distress signals or anything like that?
I don't know if they sent out any distress signals, but I see a lot of flares burning in the cabin.
They must be cold, then, I suppose.
No, it's about 94 out here.
Well, is anyone up on the flying bridge?
All I can make out up there is I see a lot of packages, a suitcase. Same goes for the dinghy filled up with packages.
Well, look, maybe you'd better warn them, Wally. Tell them they're sinking.
All right, I'll try. Ahoy there! Ahoy on the Blue Memo. I'd like to talk to the skipper.
I'm Beckersley, the skipper. The office send you what?
No, sir. I'm out here covering covering the sinking of your boat.
Look, if I throw you $1, will you bring back some ice? I think we're a little short of cocktail dip, too. Hey, bring back some coasters. All the tables around here are getting dirty.
Well, sir, your boat, the Blue Memo, is sinking.
And I don't care if the coasters don't have anything funny written on them. Any kind will do.
Sir, your stern is underwater.
I could have you removed from the big street for that remark. Hey, George, get me a compass. I want to wrap a dollar bill around it and throw it to the guy out there.
Yes, but Mr. Beckersley...
Well, what's happening, Artie?
Well, the Blue Memo just gave a lurch, and now she's listing practically 90 degrees. And now the stern is dropping lower, and there she goes. There goes the Blue Memo, ladies and gentlemen, the deep sinks.
Hey, George, you got that compass yet? Good. Hey, now listen, you memorize this. Ice, cocktail dip, coasters. And if you got any money left over, bring back a raft. I think we're missing a boat here.
Certainly, sir.
Hey, Wally, what's the picture out there now, really?
Summer dies hard, Ray. And that's the story from me for today.
And thank you, Wally Ballou, for your thrilling word picture of the sinking of the Blue Memo.
Seems like kind of an empty Friday, doesn't it, Ray, with no picnic? It always takes me a few Fridays after the early picnic to get back to normal.
That's right. Just think it's been 1 week now since we had that wonderful, wonderful time. Well, I think we better forget it and wait till next summer.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to try very diligently to get in that call from Thurber Whitechapel tonight because we had trouble running overtime yesterday.
We promised to have him yesterday, and we promised to have him today, so we're going to really
Come on right in here.
we're really going to guard the time. Hi, Wally. We're going to guard the time so we can get Thurber on today.
I'd like to have you meet my family. I brought them in town today, did some shopping.
Wonderful, wonderful.
My wife, Holla.
Hello.
And my little boy, Ballou.
Well, hi there, little boy, Ballou.
Hi.
And it's good to see you again, Holla.
Ms. Ballou.
Hello. Well,
Say a few words, Holla.
all right. Hello, Barbara Ray.
Certainly nice to have you come and visit our studio here and see your husband at work. And how's your little boy like this?
Well, he's very excited.
I think it's good.
Well,
Shopping.
you've been shopping, little boy, Ballou?
Huh?
Yeah, have you been to the movies?
Don't talk too much, little boy.
Wally, what kind of a day have you put in? What are your
Well,
plans
they
for
went
later?
shopping, as I said, and I'm going to take them to dinner as soon as your show is over. And then we've got tickets to a hit Broadway show, production. And then we're going to
Wally, did you...
take the train back home.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing I do every year for him, don't I, Holla?
Yes, every year we come to the city and we have a wonderful time.
Oh, fine, really up front.
Yes, we look for us every year.
Yeah, we do.
Well,
we'll just sit down over here.
Just a second, Wally. Before you sit down, though, I mean, did you, by any chance, take a look at the assignment board before you...
No, I didn't, as a matter of fact. Somebody had hung a shirt over it.
Well, you have an assignment tonight.
Today?
As a matter of fact, you should be in the Bob and Ray station wagon now, heading towards it.
Well,
toward the assignment.
how long will it take? I'll be able to get back for dinner, will I? Maybe I could go right away.
No, it's a story that I don't think will really break until much later tonight, but we wanted you to go out and get as much color as you could on this story.
Well, that means I'm going to have to change my plans.
It's the oyster harvest out in Long Island Sound.
Oh, well, that is important. See, when these assignments come in, Holly, you just have to take them. You don't know when.
Well, I don't know what you're made out of, Wally. With all these plans, you're going to stand there now and go to some... With all these plans...
Can't understand her sometimes.
With all these plans that we've made, you're going to go cover an oyster harvest?
Yeah, gee, that.
See, well, fly right. Once, Pop, fly right.
Well, there's nothing I can do about it, folks. I'm terribly sorry. If they give me an assignment, I have to accept it.
We're very, very unhappy about all this, Miss Ballou and little boy Ballou, to disappoint you so, but, of course, business comes first.
Comes before pleasure, of course.
Always.
And I'm sure they'll understand the more they think about it, Papa.
So if you'd care to sit down...
Great humanitarians, both of you.
Right. You better get going, Wally, and...
All right.
And maybe they...
Well, you folks will have to get home by yourself.
Well, I know where the train goes.
Yeah.
I'm leaving now. I'm going out.
All right,
Little boy Ballou went with them, too, huh?
Once again with his theme, played by his wife, Old MacDonald had a farm.
Lovely bride.
His lovely bride, Ms. Armstead. We present Dean Archer Armstead of the Lackawanna, New York Field Station, our expert in agriculture. And welcome to spring. Welcome to our program, Dean, to Radio New York.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Ms. Armstead.
All right.
Want to kill it? Thank you. Dean, what's been new with you since we last talked? My goodness, it's been, well, practically years since you...
Well, it's been 3 years, of course, we exchange Christmas cards still.
Yes, and you do a local show up there in Lackawanna, don't you?
Yes, I do, in the early morning, Bob. Farm reports and so forth.
5:15 or something of that sort.
5:50.
5:50 now.
10 minutes to 6.
You can sleep later now.
More people are up at that time than 5:15.
Right, well now...
They did an extensive market research and came up with that development.
Uh-huh.
They've discovered that lots of people are up at 5:15, but a lot more at 5:50.
Dean says a lot more people are up at 5:50, 10 minutes to 6 in the morning, than are up at 5:15. Therefore, his program in Lackawanna has been moved up to that hour.
Thank you for translating him, Bob. I can't understand a word he says.
Well, I've never had that complaint before.
Dean,
May I take a few moments now to talk about your lawn?
Yeah.
Now's the time to get out and scratch the lawn with a good bamboo rake.
Scratch the lawn with a good bamboo rake.
Thank you, Bob.
I wish you wouldn't do that, Bob.
Mary, you don't...
It sounds like a bad echo.
I wish you'd stop interrupting, Mary. I'm trying to make sense out of what the Dean...
See, I know he makes sense, if you can understand. He knows his subject.
I know
but
he
I
does.
can't understand what he's saying. And I have a lawn. I'd like to know. I'm writing down what you translate.
I'm telling you what he said.
All right. Well, you said don't interrupt. I wish you'd just do what you've been doing.
All right, go ahead, will you, Dean, and don't pay any attention.
A good bamboo rake and scratch the lawn, and then turn up the topsoil. And then I would forget to fill up the seed and lime.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see you translate that, Bob. That was a mouthful he just handled there.
I understood it. He said you scratch up the lawn and then throw in some seed.
And lime.
Isn't that what you said?
Yes, and lime.
And lime?
That's right.
I don't know, Dean. I think maybe...
See what I mean? Wouldn't it be better if he just wrote it down on paper and you get Henry Gladstone to read it in the news or something?
I don't think Henry would read it. Might get Lyle Van to read it.
Well, somebody could read it that makes sense.
Uh-huh. Dean, Ms. Armstead, you can start his theme now. Dean, it's been a pleasure to welcome you back, and we'll certainly look forward to future appearances after you get your dental work done. And then we'll be able to understand more about what you have in store.
So long, everybody, and a green thumb.
It is, isn't it?
Now to Kankakee, Illinois, and Wally Ballou, who's covering a very important event in that town this day. And that, of course, is the Jump Rope Championship. So come in, Wally Ballou.
Me, Ballou, here in Kankakee, where we're covering the Senior Jump Roping Championship. Maybe you can hear the spirited sound of jump ropes in action as they're operated by some of the top-flight senior champions of the country today, none of whom is under 35 years of age. That's one of the rules. They have to be over 30. I wonder, could I interrupt you just a minute, sir?
Yeah.
How many continuous jump rope loops or revolutions have you made so far?
Well, when you stop me there, I was up to 710.
There's something disqualify you for stopping in the middle of competition.
Well, yes, but...
so that you're out now, is that...
yes, I've been disqualified. But, inasmuch as you've called me over and I had to stop,
wanted to talk over the radio.
But,
I didn't realize that until after I'd stopped you.
It's all right, sir, but I'll be very pleased to answer any questions you have.
Well, are you considered an amateur? Do you get paid for this?
No, you don't get any pay for it. You do it all on your own, and I do it mostly... Excuse me, I'm a little winded. I do mostly on the weekends when I have some free time.
Uh-huh. Where do you find the best place for jump roping?
To my driveway.
Uh-huh.
And I like it's good hard cement, no cracks in it.
Do you have children, sir? Do you have a family?
Yes, I have some kids, but...
Are they interested in following in your footsteps or jump steps?
No, they give me a pretty wide berth to my house. They think I'm a little wacky.
I suppose so. What do you plan to do if you had won this championship?
Well, I was going to take the prize money and probably put it into a bigger area. See, my driveway as it is now, I just have the two paths cemented, for the tires, but I thought I could do the middle part. Then I could kind of recklessly go up and down.
Then you could move around, have a little more freedom there.
That's
do you have any favorite steps that you like to do?
Ginger.
Huh?
Ginger I like. That's where you go like 60.
Uh-huh. Could you demonstrate one or two of them for us now?
Show you a little ginger.
Swing our camera over there. We could get this, maybe. What's that one? Is that the ginger?
No, not yet. I'm just warming up now. Don't touch me. There's ginger.
Thank you. I understand later today you're going to compete in the jump rope doubles. Is that right?
That's right. A friend of mine up the street, he's in the same bank with me. We team up, and we're taking on all comers.
Well, that certainly sounds like a good take.
Looks like a grudge match coming up this afternoon,
and I know all the folks here in Kankakee.
Will you be back to cover it?
Probably will, yes.
All right.
So, thanks very much for now. That's all the news to report at this moment, Bob and Ray.
Now then, Wally, you have that tape?
Yep.
All right, why don't you give it to Mr. Alonzo? Wake him up. Wake up, Mr. Alonzo.
Joe Alonzo.
Good boy. All right.
You want to play the tape now?
We're going to play the Wally Ballou tape, the one that he made when he visited the laboratory of Matthew E. Pulsifer. Okay, let it roll.
Peeking from the laboratory of Dr. Matthew E. Pulsifer, and about set for our first look at Dr. Pulsifer's invention, the fact datatron. Doctor, I wonder if you could give us a little background material on the machine that we're going to see demonstrated presently here.
Yes, well, first of all, I want to welcome you here to the laboratory, Mr. Ballou. This is a computer machine that I have been working on for 11, 12 years.
That was after you gave up brain surgery, was it?
Oh, yes, many years after that. Now, what I do here is I can feed certain information and data to this machine.
Uh-huh.
And then the machine more or less digests this information that I feed it, and it gives you your answer within certain limitations.
Well, I mean, would it answer any question I wanted to ask, or does it have that information within it?
No, that's one of the limitations. The questions have to be easy, something you could figure out in your own head.
One of the bugs you're trying to get out of it, I understand.
Yes, that's right.
So then, when the digested information is completed, it's returned on cards, I presume.
It comes out through... Well, do you want to step over here? I'll show you the machine, Mr. Ballou.
Easiest thing.
The fact datatron is electrically powered. And
see, it's plugged into the wall over there.
Right down here is where the answer will come out. In here is where I feed the information, the data I was speaking about.
Well, do you do that before or after the question is asked?
You do it before.
Before.
And then
you want to feed some information into it, and then I'll ask a question.
All right, well, let me open the door, and I'll feed it the information.
Mr. Pulsifer is shoveling mounds of information into the machine. And I hear an electric current going on. Something is working in there.
Well, it's beginning to digest all that information, those 2 or 3 shovelfuls that I just put in there.
Uh-huh. That should be enough to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Simple question.
That's working in good shape. All right.
Now, here's the question I'd like to ask the machine. Is it all ready?
I think so, yes. The lights are on, so you ask it any question.
Right. If a person was born November 1st, 1955, say, how old would he be on November 1st, 1965? Let's see, he'd be 10 years old, I
Well,
suppose.
we'll see what the machine says.
Well, it's 55 to 65. What's that mean? There's a card coming out of the side of the machine.
It said, 11, question mark.
Well, the answer is 10, I'm sure of that.
Well, I'm going to put some more information in there anyway.
Maybe it didn't have enough facts to go on.
Yeah. I'll put plenty of information in this time, and then you can ask it a question. That's very good. That's easy for it, too.
It seemed like an easy
question. Yes, that's a nice, easy question. All right, now...
You want me to change it?
No. Well, yes, kind of...
All right, let me get
wait
that.
second. Let it digest this information, please.
All right.
Now.
Is it ready now?
Yes, it's ready to go. Now
All
ask it
right,
any
here's
question.
a simple one. How old am I this year?
Now, let's see what the machine says. It says 41, question mark?
No.
Well, there's another card coming out. 28?
No.
35?
No. It's getting warmer, though.
41.
No. It guessed that before.
Said that once before.
Yes, it likes that.
59.
No.
10.
No. That was the answer to the first question. Is it extrapolating now?
Mr. Ballou, you can stay here a little longer with the machine if you want. I'm going to go upstairs.
All right, this is Radio's
I'm
Wally
a little
Ballou.
disappointed with it.
Returning you to our New York studios from the laboratory of Matthew E. Pulver.
Well, that must have been some experience, Wally.
Yes, it was. Did you enjoy the tape?
Very, very much
I didn't get a chance
so.
to edit it before we played it, I thought.
He sounds like a very unusual person, this Matthew Pulsifer.
Yes, he does.
All right.
Aching my seat now, if you don't...
All right, Wally, fine.
Deep into left center field is rolling.
This is radio's award-winning Wally Ballou here on the beach in behalf of Bob and Ray's campaign for a transistor radio in every home. And it's a scene of panoramic surf, sand, and radios. Radio goes everywhere with the consumer, and this certainly proves it. Man, could I have a word with you, please?
Sure. Man, this group really swings,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
I wonder if you can lower it a little bit. You seem kind of old for that type of music.
Well, I like all kinds, but when I'm on the beach, I like to really let go. Know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Hey, you're blocking the sun.
Well, don't kick sand on me. You'll ruin the equipment, sir.
Never mind him, Mr. Ballou. He's a big bully.
Yes, ma'am. Did you know that every summer radio reaches more adults than TV?
I'm warning you, buddy. Bug off.
Sir, please don't kick sand on my equipment.
Hold my radio. I'll take care of him.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that nice little old lady just gave the bully a couple of karate chops, and he's out like a light.
Now, what were you saying about radio in the summer?
Forget it.
And let's see. According to the call board, Wally Ballou is standing by with a report from the transatlantic bridge. I really didn't know there was such a thing.
It's still under construction, I think. Actually, I don't know. It hasn't got much publicity.
Well, I'm sure we'll learn all of the details as we switch out there now to correspondent Wally Ballou.
Lee Ballou speaking from the main construction shack of the transatlantic bridge some 800 miles due east of New York. Beside me is one of the men responsible for this eighth wonder of the world, Mr. Oddmont Fulcrum. I believe I'm correct, Mr. Fulcrum, in saying that the bridge construction is now extended to a point about 800 miles out of New York.
We're right around 800 miles from New York, yes. We don't keep an accurate check on our mileage, but we're less than halfway across.
As I understand it, the bridge ultimately will end in England?
Well, we're pointing it toward England, but in the event that we miss the mark, we'll just go on to the French coast.
You know, it's strange, but I could swear that I hear an automobile motor way off in the distance. But, of course, that's impossible.
No, it's not impossible at all. We've opened the toll house at the New York end.
Gee whiz, that car went right off the end of the bridge and into the ocean. Shouldn't you put up a sign of some kind to warn people the bridge isn't completed beyond this point?
Well, it wouldn't do much good, really. The bridge is too narrow to turn a car around on, and you certainly couldn't back up 800 miles to New York.
No.
When you hit this point, you almost have to drive off the end.
Yeah, I suppose so. The amazing thing to me about this monumental project is the fact that only 3 men are working on it. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I'm working on it. Jimmy Sanderson's working on it, and Bobby Bogle is working on it. And the funny part is that none of us had any previous experience in bridge building.
Well, then, how did you ever get the idea for building a bridge clear across the Atlantic Ocean?
Well, it all came about kind of by accident. Wally, Jimmy and Bobby and I were at Coney Island one summer afternoon back in 1951. We were trying to build a castle in the sand, but the thing kept falling down.
Uh-huh.
And when we got finished, we discovered that what we really had was the bridge approach.
And so you decided to just go ahead and build a bridge out of sand all the way to Europe. Is that it?
That's right. We figure that with airline and steamship fares as high as they are, a lot of people would be glad to pay a 50-cent toll to drive across. We opened the New York toll house right away so we'd have some operating capital.
Well, I don't notice any machinery or anything around here. You usually see pile drivers and things like that where a bridge is being built.
Well, most bridges are not built out of sand. All we use are buckets and shovels. Jimmy and Bobby dig up the sand at Coney Island, and they bring it out to me, and then I pack it down here at the end of the bridge.
Wow. And you were telling me before we went on the air that you hope to complete the project by about 1987, 88?
That's right. Of course, you can drive out this far anytime you'd like.
No, thanks. I think I'll wait until it's finished.
Well, suit yourself about that.
Well, I want to thank you for chatting with us, Mr. Fulcrum. And now this is Wally Ballou, winner of 51 international awards, sending it back to New York.
The reaction to Artie Skirmahorn's coverage recently of a pea-picking contest was so good that this week we've sent him to Jessup, Georgia, where Artie will describe the events at a real cotton-picking contest. So come in, Artie Skirmahorn.
This is Artie Skirmahorn in Jessup, Georgia. We are broadcasting at the contest here where the person who will harvest the crop, the most of it, in a given period of time will be declared the winner. I'm trying to avoid the phrase cotton picking because it's become more or less of an old joke, and I don't want to fall into that trap. Standing beside me is a gentleman who tells me he's been judging these contests for over 35 years. He's beloved in these parts. His name is Ned Bodine. Ned himself is a former picking champion, and he has granted to say a few words to us and answer some of my questions. I hope they don't appear to be too naive.
No, I'm sure they won't, Artie, and let me welcome you here to Jessup, and it's a pleasure to see you as we harvest the white stuff.
I might point out that just as we came on the air, you heard a burst of applause and laughter. I wonder if you could tell our listeners, Ned, just what those people over there in position to harvest were doing.
Well, that's the cotton-picking comedy and fancy cotton-picking, which, of course, is not a feature of the real work of the day, and they just try to get a little humor into it. None of these cotton pickers are entered in the main cotton-picking event.
Say, Ned, what is the record for picking the product you mentioned in a single contest?
Cotton-picking?
Yes.
The record for cotton picking is held by Spoof Burford, and that was set back in 1934, Artie. Three and a quarter bales in one hole.
I see. What would you say would be the ideal competitive picker of the white stuff? In other words, what do you think are the ingredients that would go into making a champion picker of the product here?
Well, big cotton-picking hands, of course, are an asset, and a good pair of cotton-picking lungs, because the cotton-picking lint really flies during one of these cotton-picking contests.
Doggone it.
But maybe most important of all, Artie, he's got to have a real cotton-picking heart to be champ. He's got to eat, sleep, and live cotton-picking.
Doggone it. Now, looking over the entries, who do you think will pick the most of the product?
Crop?
Yes, of the crop here today.
Clive Durr from over Salta, Florida way is the cotton-picking favorite here today.
Do they have to run the cotton they've picked through the gin? Would you say that...
Yes, they run it through the cotton-picking gin at the end of the cotton-picking day after the bales and the holes are tallied up.
What will the winner get here for picking the most of this crop?
He gets the cotton-picking plaque and $5,000 cotton-picking dollars.
Doggone it. It happened. This is Ivy Schermerhorn sending it back to the cotton-picking...
This is Radio's Wally Ballou on location for Bob and Ray. Today, visiting the Norton Nasograph Company, the people who turned out nasographs in great numbers over the past years, and we're chatting with Mr. Norton. Sir, surplus has become big business, and I understand that you're here in the midst of a surplus of nasographs which have been turned back in.
That's right. It was a government order that all nasographs be turned back to us, and we paid what we thought was a fair price to the owners of them. Fortunately, they were never supposed to fall into civilian hands, these nasographs.
What were they originally designed for? I know the name.
Well, I don't want to divulge that, but they were supposed to go up on our military aircraft in World War II.
Maybe some of you remember the Norton nasograph. It used to be carried aboard in sealed containers with the pilot carrying one part of it.
That's right. The co-pilot carried another part of the nasograph. The engineer carried part of the nasograph, the bombardier, the tail gunner, and then they'd reassemble it when they were aloft.
And, of course, we are not at liberty to say what they did with it. Then the civilians got hold of this, and what use, I think, were you quite familiar
with?
Well,
what brought it all to our attention was it was turned into commercial use. We saw people breathing on it, and it caused a flurry at my plant and in government circles. We call all the nasographs back. I'd like to make this one final plea that, remember, after September 1st, it's against the law to own a nasograph. We want them all back.
Well, now, Mr. Norton, maybe you've thought about this plan. I know a lot of surplus people do make use of things that have become obsolete. I know the nasograph, by obsolescence, might have still some use in another form. Have you any ideas about what you could do with it?
We have some ideas. Some of them are military and some are medical. But I wouldn't want to go in to discuss it much further with you because I'm afraid I'd be treading on secret information. And rather than run the risk of 15 years and $10,000 or both, I'd shut up.
Okay, Mr. Norton, I think we've gotten the picture here from your surplus warehouse. If the restrictions are lifted, and if you can talk about the nasograph in the future, be sure and give us a call. We'll come out here again with our
What's your number, Oxford
equipment.
7?
No, I'll give it to you after we get off the air.
All right.
And now back to the studio.
Wally Ballou, please. Come in.
Hey, Ballou, here at the airport, where we're about to take you, the radio listener, on the imaginary trip in the airliner.
My mic off, swell. Hey, look, from now on, listen, you guys. When I'm doing a show, I want good earphones, or I'm not showing up for any more programs. I don't care anything about it. I just soon waltz is look at any one of you.
Airliner that we're about to...
What? My mic is on. Check for
is just about ready to take off, and you may be able to hear the pilot as he gives the instructions for the...
Port engine 1. Port engine 2.
For the engines to be turned on. Port engine 1, port engine 2 have been turned on. Probably now the starboard engine 3, starboard engine 4.
Starboard engine 1, you idiot.
Starboard engine 1.
Starboard engine 2.
And starboard engine 2. Now it's ready to go. This is a 4-engine plane.
Skyliner, Flight 35, ready.
And Flight 35 is ready to take off. There's 2 or 3 little children here aboard the plane with me, and I'm sure they will get a big thrill out of this as...
Your landing gear.
I will.
Gear up.
I don't know what that meant. He said gear up.
Okay, take her now. I'll say hello to our passengers.
Now the pilot's going to say hello to us.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Captain Williams.
Who?
Your pilot on this flight.
Captain Williams?
Are now airborne at 12,000 feet.
Get me out of here!
310 miles per hour, and will reach Chicago on schedule in 3 hours and 20 minutes.
Going to reach Chicago in 3 hours and 20 minutes,
Children?
ladies and gentlemen.
Here, put these pillows on your laps, and I'll put the trays on them.
Oh, thanks. They're serving some kind
Why
of...
don't you put the trays on the kids and you sit on my lap?
Hey, that was good. Well, where are we now, Miss Jones?
Let me see. Let me have the window seat there, will you, kid? Because I want
Hey, you big bully, let the kids look out the window.
But I've got to describe this for the radio audience, what I
Follow
see.
radio beams all the way. I guess Captain Williams is checking right now.
Stewardess is saying something about radio.
I don't know, but I've read something on the little piece of paper they give you to read here that you're not even supposed to turn on a little small radio, never mind big broadcasting stuff.
Well, we have special permission to do it.
If Captain Williams sees it or hears of this, he's going to come back and really fix your wagon.
Captain Williams is a little squirt. I saw him when I got aboard the
Oh,
plane.
yeah? Wait, I'm going to go up. Hey, Captain Williams! Captain Williams!
Well, that tattletale is running to the captain now.
Oh, broadcasting out here. He said you're a sport.
And we may be forced to cancel. Yes, we are. Oh, it wasn't Captain Williams. It's somebody else I thought that was Captain Williams. This is a rather large...
Industry on the march. Again, we follow Wally Ballou. This time he is in Ohio. Come in, please, Wally Ballou.
I'm Ohio, at one of the foremost flour mills in this country, the Fordyce Flour Works, where we're speaking with the Assistant Chief General Manager, Finkley L. Brysocker. Fink, if we might fire a few questions at you. First of
all, let me tell you, Mr. Ballou, that it is really a pleasure to be talking with you. I've listened to you so many times.
Well,
and really, I'm thrilled to meet you in
taken us
person.
some time to get out here to your plant, but as you know, we're reviewing industry this week, Fink, and we thought we'd just kind of cover what you're doing here.
Sure, but it really is a
explain
thrill.
a little bit of your operation for us.
Well, we, of course, make flour here, and a lot of it is self-rising flour. Some of it isn't. And
I notice all of the workers are immaculately dressed in white uniforms.
Oh, yes, and all the lady employees wear hairnets so their hair won't fall in the flour.
And hairpins, I suppose, other...
That's right, and we
like
take
that.
all kinds of protective measures. Well, we have those heavy sheets across the vats so that when the globs of grease fall down from the heavy machinery, it won't go right into the flour
there.
That's right, because something like that can hurt your business.
Well, I should imagine. If
somebody at home open up a bag of flour and find a glob of grease there. Well, you're going to hear about it.
Well, you're certainly to be commended on having the foresight to think of protecting yourself in this manner, and of course the housewife at the same time.
Yes. Well, we think that employee morale is very important to a good operation, Wally. May I call you Wally? I
wish you would, Fake.
And for that reason, we have a very generous retirement plan here, and we have hot chocolate delivered to the employees twice a day, coffee if they want, or milk, cookie, and...
ice cream?
No.
Well, you certainly seem to have employee morale.
Another towel.
And a towel to wipe their hands after their little time out for refreshment.
And their mouths.
And, of course, the hairnets. I think you've certainly proved that you are looking at this thing in a modern way, that you're presenting the best product possible for you to present with the facilities you have here. And we certainly wish a great deal of success for Fordyce Flour. Anything you'd like to say in conclusion before we return it to our main studio? That's it, then. We'll return it now to...
I can't think of much, Wally.
Can you hear me?
You know the words to Deck the Halls.
I know them.
I know
I think I do.
Yeah, from school. Deck the halls with Ballou. Holly, yeah.
Why don't you try it anyway, and if it works out, why we'll...
Okay, Bob, give us a downbeat.
All right.
1, 2, 3, and then...
Okay. Let's see. 1, 2, 3.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly. Tra la 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 la. La 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 la. Here's the season to be jolly. Tra la 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 la. La la la. Don't we know our day?
Not Harry's key at all.
No, it isn't. Very good.
Gee, that was nice. Mary, that's not your key at all.
Well, you sound a little like Arthur Schrank there for a minute. If I didn't know he was in Hong
Sound
Kong,
like you
I
swallowed
would...
a cut glass vase before you started to sing that one.
Well, I suppose we better light the tree and then pass out the presents, hadn't we?
Okay.
Will that be the next order of
Well,
business?
Bob, I think last year you pushed the button.
Yeah, I did.
So that means, everything being fair and square, that I pushed the button to light the tree this year.
Okay.
Are you all set, everybody? Oh, yes, we're all set. Okay, here I go. 1, 2, 3.
What do you know about that?
Oh, isn't
Where's
that...
our lighting expert?
Isn't that a shame?
Sven?
Oh,
Sven.
isn't that a shame?
Sven Ostersve, set the lighting thing up and,
Sven,
sure.
here.
What's the matter?
Were you in charge of seeing that we had the right spider on the floor and the right cords and the
Well,
right
I got
thing?
mixed up in a little of that spaghetti on the floor there. All that mixed up wires and things.
You saw what happened. The flag is completely...
I think I plugged the lights into the tape recorder.
the tree there is completely disintegrated.
Yeah, I see that. That's
Not a thing left.
It burned all the branches off there.
Not a thing. There must be $5 or $6 there tied up in decorations.
Well,
Gone.
it didn't ruin the presents any.
Some of that tinsel is still okay, I suppose, but...
We could drape that around the window of the control room. But otherwise, it's a real mess.
I have a rubber plant that's out in the office. I'll bring that in.
Think you'll save the day, Barry.
We can decorate the rubber plant.
All right, would you go and get it?
Yeah, I'm sorry it caused all of this
It's
confusion.
okay, and Merry Christmas... Oh.
Gone.
To both of them. Merry Christmas to Mary and to Sven.
Yeah, I hope she gets that back here in time because it doesn't really... I suppose we can start giving...
Giving out
give
some of the
Wally his
presents.
present, yeah.
Wally,
Yes, sir. Front
Oh,
center.
and incidentally, yeah, well, it is, but before we give you your present, Wally, I was looking at the teletypewriter, and I'm afraid that duty calls again for you tonight, fortunately.
Uh-oh. I almost could tell this was coming. Another
So,
assignment, huh?
That's right. We
I was
understand.
hoping to get home to Rosedale to the wife, hullabaloo, and the kid, little boy.
Right. Unfortunately, this will take you in the other direction. Tonight marks the final run of a commuter train that goes from Amityville to Montauk.
Oh, that should be fun, though.
And we'd like you to cover that for CBS.
Yeah, they'll be in a good mood, the folks on that train.
So if you'd get going, well, first of all...
Well, let me open the present
Merry
first.
Christmas, Wally. Open the present. There you are. Hope it's...
I do appreciate Hey, just what I wanted. A necktie.
Yes.
You fellas are about the most original people I know.
And look, on the other side there, don't let that service station insignia bother you, because nobody will see it.
Oh, I noticed that. I'll have to tie it backwards.
Tie it backwards so that they won't see the
Says I should
service-
wear it with a gray suit.
Right.
But I'm
And,
colorblind. How do
and
I
a-
tell what suit?
And a black
color I
visored cap. But anyway, Merry Christmas, Wally.
Merry Christmas, and hope you get the rubber plant decorated in time.
Thank you, Wally. Bye, buddy.
Merry Christmas.
Well, that's too bad. I'm sorry to see Wally go.
Come on, now, open up yours
He's
here,
going to
Whip.
help me make the punch.
Well, we can take care of that.
Whose present is this?
This is yours.
Oh.
Wish Mary would get back. How do you like that? Do you think it'll fit?
Well, I wouldn't wear a little calendar like that.
Oh, you're...
Hey, did you color this yourself with, with your own crayon?
No, it's watercolor.
Beautiful.
I thought it looked kind of nice. It looked better.
That's glue on the back of December 60, isn't it? I can stick on any piece of paper.
What?
I say that's glue, isn't it, on the back
Yeah.
of December 60?
Yes.
So I can stick it on every piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's certainly something I can use every day of the year.
Well, that's, we thought it would be practical for
Very
you.
nice. Very, very,
And I think
very
maybe
nice.
if you go down now and
I think
tell
I'll
the
start
sleigh...
to make the bowl.
Well, before you do that, tell the sleigh man downstairs we'll be down in a few minutes, will you?
Okay, I'll tell him.
Did you get the rubber plant, Mary?
Yes, here it is.
Okay, good.
I have some decorations too, just so long as we have something that looks like a tree and is lit up.
I think so.
Boy, that sounds like a straight line.
No, that'll work all right. We've got a few lights that'll still work. I think there's another string we didn't use before.
Mary, we have a little something for you, too, from Bob and Ray. There you are.
Hope you like it.
What's That's what, a hat brush?
Huh? Yes. You can use it for suede or like shoes and stuff.
Very nice.
Or for your leather jacket.
Well, I don't have a leather jacket. It's very nice.
Handy, huh?
I don't know how you ever knew I wanted that.
Well, little birds gave us little tips on things that you folks want.
Very nice, very nice.
Okay, that's it. Merry Christmas, Mary.
Merry Christmas to you, too. I think we all have something for you gentlemen, too.
Well, that's very nice. I think we ought to thank the 20 people who showed up in the studio tonight.
My
My
heart goes out to them, really. You'd think that they could be at a place where some of their own relatives and friends are on Christmas Eve, but thank you for coming here, and on the way out, we want you to be sure and put out the lights as you leave. Thank you.
So, enjoy yourself. I guess we could be leaving now, couldn't we?
Guess so. Well...
Don't forget, we will be back here tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, we'll be back with our big Christmas dinner and everything. Well, we hope you all have a Merry Christmas and...
Have a very Merry Christmas, and come on with us down the hall now while we go out. Get into the sleigh.
Down the hall here. And...
Elevators are still running.
Where you going, down?
Yes, please.
Get in, face front.
Okay, Gus. Merry Christmas, incidentally, Gus.
Yeah, same to you.
Kind of makes you feel warm, doesn't it, Ray?
What?
No, I was talking to Ray.
Yeah, it kind of makes me feel warm.
Yeah.
So long and Merry Christmas to you.
So long.
Yeah, he's out there. I can see him through the glass doors out on 52nd Street.
Boy, it's cold tonight.
Oh, boy. Bundle up.
Well,
Get up into the sleigh.
get your great coat on.
Okay, driver. To the Cratchits.
Don't spare the horses either, driver.
Do you have those hot chestnuts?
Yeah, sure. I forgot them, Ray.
Good. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Oh, and Webley and Wally, will you sign the show off in just 10 seconds?
Okay, and until tomorrow, this is Webley Webster wishing you a Merry Christmas.
And Wally Ballou wishing you a Merry Christmas, too.